If you'll allow me to, in this video, I'm going to explain to you the difference between a high risk and a low risk strategy, specifically as it relates to playing on the serve side or playing on the return side, which are two very different things. If we haven't met before, my name is Tony Roig. I am a senior professional pickleball player as well as a master teaching professional, which basically boils down to I know what I'm talking about and I know how to communicate it to you in a way that will be meaningful for you and your growth as a player. If you're looking for a quick fix, quick tip or something like that, this is not the video for you. That's not what we do here at the Into Pickle YouTube channel. What we do is we provide to you deep concepts that will lead to some meaningful growth in your game, which is consistent with the principles of our sponsor, the Pickleball System, which is the most comprehensive pickleball course available anywhere, bar none. If the concepts in this video are interesting to you and you want to know more about the difference between serve and return, for instance, Pickleball System is an amazing course. And if you're watching this video during the month of March, beginning of March in any event, lucky for you, you're at the opening of our March 2024 class. The class only opens twice a year and you're one of the openings. So if it's time for you to take that next big step forward, check out the Pickleball System. I'll put a link up here and down below to thepickleballsystem.com. You can find out more about that course. All right, let's jump into this idea of high risk versus low risk specific to the serve and return. I want to give credit here to a co-coach and friend of mine, Gene Smythe, who really helped me hone in on this concept several years back when we were playing together at the Senior Pro tournament down in Delray Beach, Florida. Gene and I were successful in that tournament. We were able to win that tournament. And during one of the rallies, I hit a high-risk shot. It was a high-risk shot. I hit a zinger shot, which we'll talk about in a second when we compare serve and return. And the zinger shot was unsuccessful, but Gene turned to me and said, "Hey, that was all right. We were on the serve team, so you were taking some more risk." Got me thinking, right? And that then helped me really solidify this concept of high risk and low risk versus when you compare it to serve and the return. Because here's the thing, when you think about high risk versus low risk, it doesn't apply the same to both sides. Before we get into serve and return, let's identify what we mean by high risk and low risk. What we're talking about here is high risk is a shot that has a lower margin for being successful, right? So it's a shot that's going barely over the net, or a shot that you're trying to hit a zinger. So you're trying to hit one of those, a zinger shot right here on the sideline there, barely over the net. It's a higher risk shot. That's a high risk shot. A low risk shot would be, a safer, nice high arc dink over the net that's going to bounce right there. Very safe shot. Like if you want to look at like a Colin Johns dink, something like that, that's a very low risk kind of a shot. High risk shot would be the lower, more aggressive shots that you see some of the other pro players and every other player kind of hit. So you have high risk shots and low risk shots. The key here is you can look at margin for error. Margin for error is a really good concept to take from high risk to low risk. And we're going to go into that during our Win More workshop series, which is also happening right now if you're at the beginning of March. That's a free course. You're welcome to join us for it. You'll learn more about the Pickleball System as well, but you'll also learn about margins for error and help you reduce risk in your game as a whole. But what you need to understand for purposes of this video is that there is a difference in the risk that you accept, right? And the risk that you're willing to take, whether you're on the serve team or on the return team. So here the serve team is the team in blue with the S's and the return team is the team in yellow with the R's. I put them all up at the non-volley zone and we're going to explore the exact same shot on both sides because I want to remove any other variables for purposes of understanding that the value of the shot is different when you're playing on the serve team than when you're playing on the return team. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at the exact same shot on both sides. So we'll have the serve team and look at what the pros and cons of the shot are and the return team here. And then we're going to look at what happens when we make the shot and when we miss the shot. Okay? So let's start with the serve team. So the serve team is going to hit a really aggressive dink right here on the sideline, super low and, aggro dink is what we call it. We have a video about aggro dinking on the Into Pickle channel. If you want to check it out, I'll put a link up here. Basically, it talks about how you can be really aggressive with your dinks. But you're on the serve team, boom, you hit this really aggressive dink over here, and it's successful, right? So if it's successful, what happens? The serve team gets a point. Now, what happens if they miss it? Okay, because remember, it's high risk. They miss it here or they miss it into the net. What happens is it's a side out, right? Right. So it's a side out for the miss. Now let's flip it around to the return team, right? What happens if the return team tries the exact same shot? Okay, we'll put it over here now. So the return team's trying to hit the exact same high risk winner shot, low, aggressive, right on that sideline there. If they make it, they get a side out. And if they miss it, they give up a point, okay? So what you can see here is when you look at it on the matrix, what you see is that it doesn't have the same value, right? The winner shot, the high risk shot. If you make it on the return side, the return team, you'll get a side out. But if you miss it, it's so costly. Because side outs you can exchange, right? I can side you out, you side me out. We can play forever like that. I cannot, however, erase a point once I put it up on the board. Once I award you that point, that's locked in, right? On the serve team, on the other hand, if I take that high risk shot and I'm successful, I get that point that, again, cannot be erased. If I miss the shot, I get a side out, right? And all I have to do is then side you out when I'm on the return side, and I get another shot at scoring points as a serve team, which is exactly what my friend Gene was pointing out when we were playing together that tournament, which was I took a chance on the serve side, a high risk shot on the serve side. I missed it. Okay, we lost a side out. Not the end of the world. If I had made it, we would have scored a point. So when you're playing, this distinction between risk, right, the type of risk you're trying to take, high risk or low risk, depends on what side of the court are you currently playing on. Are you playing on the serve side or are you playing on the return side? And as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, this distinction is absolutely critical to playing your best pickleball. If you're not really sure yet about the distinction between serve and return, I cannot recommend enough joining us inside the Pickleball Systems course so that you learn this super important concept as well as a ton of other stuff. But you have this really important foundational concept that'll change how you approach a lot of other parts of your game. If you're playing on the return side, applying serve side principles, or on the serve side, applying return side principles, obviously it makes sense that you cannot possibly be playing optimal pickleball. You cannot be playing your best pickleball. So this understanding of the distinction between serve and return, how it applies to risk and how it applies to every other part of your game is absolutely critical to you playing your best pickleball. When you're out there playing, if you're on the serve side, feel free to take some more risks. That's perfectly fine. But when you're on the return side, dial back the risk a little bit, play a lower risk game. If you're ready to join inside the Pickleball System, I'll see you in our class which starts right now. Otherwise, I'll see you in our next YouTube video.